So 561 Music now has a hotline. You can call us anytime at 561-203-9122 and ask us any questions you like. Some humorous ones or something about the guests we've had on the show, or questions about gear, or questions about the festival, or anything you like. It's, of course, 561-203-9122. We would love to hear from you. We did a pretty fun little message, so you get to hear that too. Even if you just call up to listen to me and Hector trying to do a good phone message, that's a good enough reason. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you, so please get in touch.
Take a better scene. It's what we're doing. Come and check it out. It's what we're all about. 561 Music.
Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And how are you doing, sir?
I am doing fine. And this is take 2 for those folks that don't know. So I'm still doing fine.
Yeah, we just recorded the whole podcast and then we said
No,
one
we
word
didn't do
in
the whole podcast. We just did the intro. We had a technical glitch.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about your what you've been doing with this house.
Oh, yeah. So we purchased a house that we are flipping. So I've spent the better part of the last, I don't even know, 4 weeks, 5 weeks now. I don't even know. Just working on this thing.
So blurred into one terrible long day.
Yeah. And, like coordinating contractors, roofing guys and siding guys and, doing yard stuff and painting and fixing things and replacing cabinets and installing appliances. And
you're quite good at all that stuff anyway, aren't you? You're pretty handy.
I mean, I am now. If I wasn't, YouTube University is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, for real, man. Yeah.
Everything that I'm like, I need to do this. YouTube.
You know what? The thing about stuff like that is there's very few things that you can't do yourself. The problem is the first time you do it, it always takes you 50 times longer than the second time.
And that's really what it comes down to is you have to weigh out, what is your time worth,
Yeah.
And so you have to figure out as an artist, for example, I'm a $100 an hour artist. So is it worth for me to do something that's going to take 3 hours that I could have paid somebody $50? Probably not.
Yeah, totally.
So it just depends. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And then this weekend, what were we doing this weekend? I can't even remember.
Well, we played Friday night up in Vero, Kilted Mermaid.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good time, man. It was fun.
Yeah, it always is up there.
Yeah. And then Saturday, we played the Backyard Bash, Ricky's Long Live the Scene event.
Ricky's Backyard Bash was really great.
It was cool.
We were the first band on, and there was still a bunch of people there already.
Yeah, it was really cool. We were the first band because we had another gig to get to. Unfortunately, we had to scoot out of there kind of rather quickly. But yeah, it seemed like he had a good crowd there, and it was building already. And then from what I understand, it got pretty filled up. So
yeah, and then there was the Senior Citizen podcast was there from Miami.
Yeah, Senior Citizen.
Oh, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's not Senior Citizen.
I know with it's SCEN. It's like scene, as in the music scene, Eeyore. Citizen.
I guess. I don't know.
It is. That's how they do it. It's like a pun.
Senior?
Yeah, Senior Citizen. Yeah.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but they're friends of ours and, on socials and everything, and they want us to come down to Miami and do a podcast with them.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And we would love to. And if you guys are listening to this, we will be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Not 100% sure when exactly, but we'll get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then it was Das in the evening. Das
in the evening. And that was really cool, man. There was Billy Joel tribute playing in downtown in Abacoa there.
Yeah.
And on the big stage out there. And we were playing at Das. And I guess somewhere about the tail end of our second set. And then for all of our third set, the Billy Joel tribute ended, and hundreds of people just descended on the street there, and we had this huge crowd of people chanting and cheering. And
I know it weirdly works in our favor because I know you were a bit worried that no one was going to be there because everyone was watching the thing.
Yeah.
It was and
I
told you so.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be great.
It did start out slow.
Slow,
but yeah, man, it just all of a sudden there was a zillion people there, and they all were cheering and clapping, and you guys are so good, and you're wonderful, and that bass player is so hot. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. Maybe my wife. But yeah, no, it was fun, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, it
was a good time, man.
So we had a pretty solid weekend of gigs. By the way, this shirt, right? You can't see the back. Can I?
Golden Juice Company.
Yeah. It's like this real rock and roll shirt, right? But it's for like a juicery.
Oh my God! You play there, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Solo.
And the guy who runs the place is really, really nice. So if anyone wants to go and get a juice sometime in Juneau, you should go to Golden Juicery. This is an unsolicited ad for Golden Juicery.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So
the
the other thing is we at the top of the episode now we are
instead of at the
about-
end we're talking about 561 Music. So 561music.com gets you to all of our at past episodes. It gets you to all of our socials. It gets you to basically everything. It even gets you to Killbillies, believe it or not. So 561music.com.
All roads lead to Killbillies.
Yes, 561music.com. Also, you can follow us, like, subscribe, follow, all that kind of stuff on all our socials, especially YouTube, our YouTube channel, and all of those are at 561 Music Podcast.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, like and subscribe, guys. I know it's boring and everyone always says it on every YouTube video, but it is important for us.
But do it.
All right, so we have Kenny Fischer from Ambush here. How's it going, man?
Not too bad, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. So how was the drive up? It was a crazy stormy night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things you have to navigate with caution on I-95. So I left early and made sure.
Oh, there you go.
I was there for you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming all the way up here. And I know one of your buddies was going to try and watch it live, weren't they? And found out that it's not a live podcast. But one day we'll do a live one.
Yeah, that would be special.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we could do a live one, but then that just throws in so many other factors. Actually, Justin, in this room used to do. You remember in 2020 when there was like 1 million live streams going on?
Mm-hmm.
Justin capitalized on that, and he was having bands come in here and do live streams. It was really cool. For a while, every Sunday there was like this live stream series. It was rad.
Yeah, everything was shut down. There was nowhere to play, so people were coming in here and doing live streams for their fans, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting time. Just we were all kind of worried whether we were going to ever play live again anyway.
Yeah, for real, man.
No doubt.
So where does the name Ambush come from?
All right, so Ambush is an extension of some emotions that I had. An event my son lived through a school shooting at Stoneman Douglas, and I really felt it was important. It was a desperate time both for him, his friends, and really for all of us at that point. So I was really just trying to channel my energy into music, which is all I've ever done when I wanted to be emotional. So it is actively a sound of hope, both for the trauma of that event and the trauma of all events we go through, and the ambush on a daily basis of just the way the world is nowadays. You know, unexpected attacks, really.
Yeah,
coming from anywhere.
So that's terrible. I'm so sorry that happened to him, and it was a tragedy. And I think if there's any kind of silver lining, it's that you're making art. You know, like based on this trauma.
Yeah. Well, music is always therapeutic, so I mean, you know, it's a good way to deal with the emotions of an event like that. You know,
it was something that I really needed to do because I was suddenly just overrun with emotions that I had never had. You know?
Oh, I can't.
It just hit so hard and so fast that. You know, I was just kind of looking around like, wow, not only is this what the world is coming to, but my son was just in the middle of, you know, this event. And, you know, ultimately just being really proud of the way that he handled it. And just what I wanted to do, hopefully, for the future was just, you know, put a band together, go kick some ass, and just really start to enjoy the things in life that are important because we're only guaranteed today, really.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere near that, you know, that level of type of event, but like, it was about this time last year.
I remember.
Yeah, my daughter goes to Dreyfus, and about this time last year, there was that incident where the gentleman drove his van onto the campus, and they chased him into the campus, and the police unfortunately ended up having to kill him, and he was shot in the whatever it was, the
refectory,
I keep wanting to say stadium, but it's in the gym.
Okay.
You know, they shot him in the gym and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You know, getting that phone call that this is happening and the school's on lockdown and my daughter's there and stuff. I went through a ton of emotions that I had never experienced before, and that event was nowhere near what your event had gone through. So I can't even imagine. My heart goes out to you, man. Like I can't even imagine what you went through. So, but I'm happy that that you have an outlet like music, an outlet like that to be able to get your emotions out.
Yeah. What kind of emotions did you go through? I'm just curious to know.
So
how
first
it
of all,
felt.
it was really, it was my son first and foremost who was just in a massacre, who just basically arbitrarily lived through a couple hundred rounds going through his classroom, and just meeting the other kids that were in the classroom. And, after this was over, we went to a gun rally up in Washington, and just to hear the stories of people who were under siege. If you'd like to read anything about Sid and his experience, you go to Parkland Shooting Sidney Fisher on Reddit.com.
Okay.
Right.
And you'll see, people who had fought tours in Iraq, people who had come from World War I were trying to reach Sid, just to talk to him about, I had done, service for our country and never was under siege like that ever.
Yeah.
And especially without my weapon.
Sure.
Right.
So it was just interesting to see he got, people from Columbine, people who had been through this and know what it's like to have trauma basically in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a really healthy part of it, and he's doing good now.
Great.
And we'll never forget the fallen, bottom line.
Yeah.
But for now, it's about the music and Ambush and me pushing this forward. And
Great. So, Ambush is about 4 years, right?
Right, 4 years in the making.
Yeah, cool. So, how many people are in the band? I mean, it's basically you, right? Is you're the epicenter of it? You're the meat and potatoes of the band.
Yeah, so I write the music, and I basically play, the instruments in the studio recordings.
Right.
But basically, I've put together just a great group of guys down in Broward County who are the tops on their instruments. When they're available, I give them the music. We go out and gig, and they interpret it, and we've just gotten a really good response.
Nice.
In a swimming upstream where the majority of club owners want to hear either a tribute or a cover band for the guarantee. So, but I have a business. I chose to funnel a lot that I make in the business into Ambush, and we're going up.
So what do you do when you like you said, the fact remains that there's a lot of businesses, a lot of clubs, a lot of bar owners, and you're right. They want the cover bands because the cover bands are going to play familiar music that the patrons are going to be, liking and stuff, and they're going to enjoy. And it puts, butts in the seats, and it puts dollars in the cash register. So when you say that, like, you're kind of swimming upstream here, basically, you're fighting the norm, and you're playing some of these places. Are you playing? Are you just doing like these 30-minute sets or an hour sets with other bands, other original bands, or are you going in there and playing 3-4 hours like a cover band would play? And how do you navigate all that?
So I've just from the beginning wanted to do 30-minute openers, anywhere, everywhere we can.
Right.
To just get the majority of people around the state, to hear us and to hear that there was something, different that they had an option for, whether it be an opener for a national act or what have you.
Yeah.
We've played at the OCC twice. That was really, a great experience.
Cool.
To play some bigger venues. Victor Lima up there really liked us. And we continue just to, knock on the door of bigger venues, bigger places.
Yeah.
And that all comes through a bunch of factors as far as just being a good band, and then being a good band that has good music, and then being good at your social media,
yeah, sure,
and just being in the right place at the right time. It's
no, absolutely. So with the openers, have you got any interesting people that you've supported so far?
Okay, so we haven't really been able to crack into national, acts at these places.
Right.
But the bands that we play for locally down in Broward and Miami, they are on their own levels, bigger bands.
Sure.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
No, that's a lot. That's a pretty good way of doing it. And for years and years and years,
And years.
when I was in Sonic Boom 6, and one more years.
And one more years.
When I was in Sonic Boom 6, my old band, that was the the name of the game. You know, we'd go on tour and do these and open for big bands for like, you know, a month. It's quite difficult because you don't make any money doing that, but it's definitely the way to spread the word, you know. When we were young too and we didn't have any money of our own particularly, it was like we were just living on like, you know, crusts of bread, you know, like nothing, shoestrings. I lost an unbelievable amount of weight, but it was still fun though. But you're right, that's the way to do it, you know, getting in front of big crowds. Yeah. So I think you're onto something there, my man. So when it comes to writing the songs, what does that look like for you?
So really with this group, Ambush, and this theme, it's strictly about me talking to my creator, just helping him and me get through, you know, these traumatic nightmares that I keep having from this event. And it doesn't go away. And what it does is it really activates a lot of addictive behavior.
Sure.
That on a daily basis needs to be put into check.
Right.
And to this minute, it comes in hard every day.
Yeah.
You know, because there's simply something to your nervous system when it gets shocked. You know, it's like a rubber band. It never goes back to its ultimate elasticity. So it's one of those things that, like, you just basically have to monitor it and limit trauma in general.
No, I hear that, man. And, you know, I'm sober, so I can totally relate to addictive behaviors. You know, I'm riddled with them. So, you know, I know what you're saying there 100%. And when you have, like, in your head, like, a reason to... you know, go down that route, like an excuse kind of, then, you know, you'll take it, you know, you'll be like, oh, poor me, you know, it's the poor me thing, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, that's you know, I've fallen into that trap before, you know. It's like, it's like, oh, I have to escape because this or that, you know. But then, of course, what ends up happening is you end up making yourself feel worse, and it doesn't do what you hoped it would do. And then you also start, it makes you feel, it undermines your self-respect too, you know. You start digging yourself into a hole. It's a lot of facets.
You really try and lower your self-esteem so you could pummel yourself on a daily basis to substantiate that it'll be okay now because you're not feeling what you really feel. So it's okay for that until you wake up, of course.
Yeah. So you're obviously a very... good musician because you're playing all the different parts on all these songs, singing, playing guitar, playing bass. I don't know if you played the drums on them or if you programmed the drums, but the question I have is, what did it look like when you were young in terms of you learning how to play music? Like, did you have lessons when you were young? Were your parents supportive? How did you get into it all?
So when you say I was young, I'm going to give away my age now. Because, but yeah, you know, at that point there was no other option but to listen to a record and just keep trying to play it and hear it. And then, of course, there'd be the guy in your high school that had it all down already. So you'd bring him over your house to show you the licks and what have you. And we'd just be ripping off licks just to, like, Kiss and Zeppelin and Sabbath. And I was like, at that point, I was like feeling very comfortable.
How old are you at this point, like playing Sabbath and stuff? Like how
so
old
let's say 50 years.
Okay, gotcha. So is this when you're sort of a teenager listening to Sabbath and stuff like that?
I'm gonna say even younger than that.
Right,
but,
cool.
Yeah, definitely through the teens.
Did your parents support you in your musical aspirations?
Yeah, my parents were very into it just because when your kid's good at doing something, they get to show you off.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So when they had the big party, you know, sure enough, I came down and laid down some Tom Petty or what have you, John Cougar Mellencamp, and they were happy. They looked good, you know.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Your kids, you know, pay a dividend. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, you know... When you're the musician in the family, you know you get wheeled out for every occasion under the sun, don't you? Like, I don't think I've gone to a wedding and not played at it in 30 years, maybe ever.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if they asked me to start doing long-range algebra problems, whatever, I could not hold my weight in that area.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Funny, my mom will be like, we'll be at an event or something, and somebody will have a piano or a guitar or something, and my mom's like, "Oh, Hector's a musician. Hey, come here, play a little something for them." I'm like, "Mom, I'm a bass player. I don't know how to play this stuff. I can't play piano. What are you talking about?"
That's a nice out. Yeah. You really want me to sit there and like just play a bass at you?
Right.
She meant well, I'm sure.
Yeah, bless her heart. So when you're writing and recording these songs, do you go? Have you been recording stuff on your own in your house, or have you been going to a studio?
Okay, so that's on the technical end, that's definitely not my thing.
Yeah.
I like to write the music, the melody, play the tracks, and then I want to sit down and work with someone who really knows how to engineer and chop things up and maybe offer up, a suggestion, something like that. And I found a very good team in Nick Marino, Denver Cooper, down at his studio at NZM Studio.
Right.
And the tracks that we'll be releasing this summer and are releasing now are at Nick Marino Studio.
Where's that at, down in Broward? Or?
Yeah, it's in Davie. Nick sings and plays keyboards with Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, okay.
And he's just a really talented guy on the digital end, and
Nice.
I just have full trust in everything we've done together, really.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I've heard the recording. A couple of the recordings. They sound great.
Yeah.
So when you're at home prior to going into the studio, how much of that is it all in your head, or do you have kind of like, do you learn like the bass parts and the guitar parts and all the different parts, or do you just go in the studio with knowing the guitar and then you can kind of figure it out on bass? That's my first question. And my second question is, are you going in there with like a book of like notes, or do you just memorize it all?
Yeah, so I like to just lay out the arrangement of the song on an acoustic.
Yeah.
Just lay the whole song out exactly how I hear each part.
Yeah.
And then I want to come in with the drums and the rhythm tracks, and then I can really think about my melody lines on the electric guitar after all that. But I like to lay that down from the bottom.
Yeah,
like a house,
So part of the writing process is actually happening in the studio.
Yeah, a lot of it is, just like I said, is just the arrangement is what I like to get first, because you can move things around, but after you get into all of it, it's a lot harder to move it around.
Sure.
Yeah. Are you, and when it comes to the drums, are you programming them on the computer, or are you playing like electric drums? Which way?
Yeah. So basically, on some of the tracks, there are electronic tracks that are from loops and various drum sources.
Yeah.
And then I have multiple drummers who come in and lay, both on a roll-in kit pads or on a live drum set.
Interesting.
And I like mixing it up, honestly, because you can reach different genres. Of music when you use a little electronica in there.
Sure.
And it opens up different doors. So you want to try and
no doubt about it, man.
You ever play with Patrick Johansson?
Yeah, I know Patrick, and he is the double kick master.
He's ridiculous.
It's just that's a God-given talent.
I love that guy. I worked with him over at the school for like 5 years or so.
Yeah, he's a special kind of drummer, and that's it. I mean, he speaks for himself with who he plays with,
Yeah. Oh no, of course. I'm just curious because you said you're working with Nick and stuff. Figure it was in that same circle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good stuff. So
All good, brother.
Are you practicing your instrument? Do you still kind of sit there and practice like outside of writing songs, like just for your technique?
Yeah. So my thing is, my guitar is in my bed. I just have a very big bed. When I'm done playing with it, I put it to the side.
Oh, there you go.
And when I wake up, it's there for me.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
When I pick up my guitar, I could play something different every time. But either way, I'm going to run off some very, very choppy rhythms.
Yeah.
To just really get both hands working together. And from there, the sky's the limit, honestly.
That's cool. Do you play scales?
So my thing is, I'm not a shredder.
Yeah.
I just learned really solid rhythms from a young age, and like to play combinations of leads and rhythms at the same time.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm not a shredder or a
that kind of like real
that
super,
style.
Laser focused, like
There'll be very
stuff.
minimal guitar solos or anything on any of these songs.
Right. Who would you say is some of the influences musically on the music you've been making?
So a lot of it is old school rock funk. I'm going to say Kiss.
Right on.
Yeah, Ted Nugent.
Okay.
I'm going to say, Powerhouse, The Who.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cinematic rock. And nowadays, I really like Nothing More.
Yeah.
Okay, just a nice big combination of some electronica, Linkin Park style, just really good lyrics.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm really down with the new sound as well.
Nice.
And try and put that into there as a lot of detuning and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So.
I remember the day I first discovered Drop D. It's like my life changed forever. It's like, brrr, and the light bulb went ping.
So many more possibilities. What have I been doing?
Totally, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got all of these influences on your music. You're writing your songs at home. You're taking them to the studio. And how many songs do you have now?
So right now for Ambush, for this record, it's 10 songs.
Right.
So I want to finish these in the next 6 weeks, get them mastered, and get these.
In the next
these
6
out.
weeks, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
man.
we would just work real fast. We get
Yeah.
it down. It's not once you get that process working with somebody, it just it's so much easier to work with somebody that is on the same wavelength you are. You can get things done just so much faster.
Yeah. No, that's great. So when do you plan on releasing the album?
So it's going to be out in August.
Right.
We're really excited about it. We got a bunch of really good gigs coming out. Really want to play the Shake and Bake.
Yeah.
Okay, on June 10th with
Cool.
Ricky and the Shake.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. That's at Swampgrass Willie's.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on June 17th, we come back to Premier Billiards in Coral Springs,
Okay.
which is really like an up-and-coming, really big establishment.
Yeah.
It's a big place, and they just have a lot of younger pool players.
Right.
So you get to play your music in front of not just your fans, but a lot of younger people that might not be there to hear rock and roll.
Yeah, yeah.
But the coolest part of it was Premier Billiards. I'm going to give them a plug right now because we played there maybe 7 or 8 times as an opener, and then finally the owner walked up to me and said, "Forget all that Zeppelin. I want to hear more of those originals."
Yeah.
And it took 4 years to get to that point. Another owner down in Broward County, I won't say the name right now, but has said the same thing. So the doors are starting to open.
Hell yeah, man.
And we've been relentless. No covers is what we do.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's starting to see some daylight.
Well, one of the ways you can do that is to bring a package to because obviously if you can't play 3 or 4 hours, you're not the same thing as a cover band anyway. But quite a lot of venues will do like if you bring like 3 or 4 bands, you take
Yeah.
the same money that they would give the guarantee to a cover band and kind of split the proceeds between you. And we've done that a bunch down here, and it works really well. Like have you tried to do those kind of gigs where you sort of bring them like a package of bands like that?
It's funny you say that. Just for this premiere gig we're going to do in 2 weeks, we brought in One Rebellion. They're a great cover band covering all 90s grunge into today, and they're just really good guys. So bringing that package to premiere with the owner knowing that, they do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it's a nice way round the side, because we can do hours and hours of covers, but we much prefer to play originals, and we're also all of us in original bands outside of Killbillies too. And so if we want to do gigs like that, we've done that at a few different places. We did it at Guanabana, didn't we?
Yeah.
We've done it at Connolly's.
Yeah, I'm doing it on June 3rd at Swampgrass. My other
But that's
band,
like what Swamp does. Isn't it?
yeah. I mean, it's my other band Euphoria, and so we put a night together. There's 3 bands playing, and we're just showing up with 3 bands.
Yeah. Listen, you got to take both sides of the owner and as the musician. You can't always just think as a musician, like, I need that owner to give me more.
Yeah.
You need to figure out how you're going to show that owner that you're going to bring him more so you can ask for more.
Yeah.
Never to mention that your tip jar, get your money from the people that are enjoying you. The
Yeah.
owner is already paying you. Start to learn how to really work that tip jar, and get each guy in the band, another X on each show and motivate them.
Yeah.
It's always a fine line I find when when you're dealing with these venues, because like you said, the owner or the manager or whoever's booking the bands, whoever's running the place, ultimately they want people in the facility, they want people there, and they want them spending money on the food and the booze, and so as a venue owner, I can see where they would want the band to bring people, because it's just it exposes people to their to their venue, to their food, to their cuisine, whatever it is, that maybe wouldn't have come otherwise, but maybe they're your fans, and so now you're bringing them to them. But the flip side of it is, and this is where I'm always like, yeah, you know what? There are two sides of this, though. The flip side of it is that as an entertainer, it shouldn't be my responsibility to fill his venue or her venue.
It depends on it.
It should be my responsibility to entertain the people that are there and keep them there.
If you're a cover band.
Yes.
But then if you're an original band, it's the other way around.
Right. But that's why I'm saying, there's this weird line, and you kind of have to almost straddle the line.
That's Killbillies is a perfect example of the band that straddles the line, because it's kind of both of our responsibilities.
Sure.
We do see ourselves as more than a cover band.
Sure. And that's the thing. You want to bring people because you want to have these fans, and you want to build this rapport with your fans, and you want to build a following, essentially.
Yeah.
And so you want these people to come out to your shows and stuff, and then you do have something to offer other than just your music. You have a legitimate fan base to offer these venues.
Yeah.
But I always make that argument of is it really the band's responsibility to bring people?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. There's a fine line.
If they're propping you up in the corner and they've got sports on, you're really just like a wall ornament, then no. But if it's if the main event is you, then yeah.
But in all fairness, we are in the hockey playoffs right now, so if they have sports on, I tend to want to watch the sports while I'm playing. So it works out fine. For me, it works out fine.
Listen, you guys know, you're doing a great job at this show, honestly.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
This is a strength in numbers game. Like anybody who makes it in the music business, even to any level, whether they formed a wedding band, and they make $50,000 a gig, or they're an original band that really never make much money. Either way, it's a strength in numbers game. You can't do it yourself, because you literally need the inertia of other bands and sounds and people to hear you. So if you want to stay stuck, then you just isolate and try and bring your crowd, or you try and work with other bands and feed off each other.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Then you've got a much better product, for the owner as well.
Well, and that's really the whole point. We've been doing this for 2 years now, and that's really the whole point of why we started this show and why it has had the success that it's had and the longevity that it's had. And why people like Ricky doing the Backyard Bash and the Shake and Bake and doing things like Long Live the Scene, which is real similar. The mission of Long Live the Scene is real similar to 561 Music, and it's just to bring the local music community together.
Yeah.
Ricky always says. Ricky always says it shouldn't be a competition between bands, that we should all lift each other up, and if we're all lifting each other up, then suddenly we're all at the top together, and that and that's really a true thing,
You're a smart man.
And that's that again, that's always been the mission of 561. That's the mission of Long Live the Scene, and that's really the whole point, is just get guys like you the exposure that you need and that you deserve to get your music out there and to put your stuff in front of people, and to help you build that fan base. So that's
And the other part of it that I found was really important too was going out and supporting these other bands.
Yeah.
Like literally letting them see you there, getting to know them.
100%.
Especially as an original band, trying to find every avenue you can to even get gigs. But just getting to know players, because ultimately the respect does come from the people who are like you and know how to do what you do as an instrumentalist, musician, songwriter, whatever you might be. So you want to speak that same language, go out and meet some people that are right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
So when you're going out and playing these gigs, because like you said, Ambush is essentially you're Ambush, and so you're writing the stuff, you're recording the stuff. Right, he is. He's the Ambush superhero.
Yeah.
And so, but you've surrounded yourself, like you said, with some pretty good musicians that do the live shows with you.
Right.
When you guys do the live shows, what's the setup like? Is there 3 people or 100 people? Do you have an orchestra? What's
no backing tracks.
What's the setup like?
So right now, Tim Strait, who sings for One Rebellion, is the singer.
Okay.
That's definitely the one thing that I cannot do is completely front and sing and play guitar and write everything.
On the recordings, who's singing?
On the recordings right now that you have is me singing, and Tim is going to take over these vocals.
Okay, gotcha.
After they're all down.
Okay.
But he's a really good young guy who is, man, we've gone everywhere from Tampa down to Miami, and people are just really impressed with Timothy Strait.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's just been a multitude of drummers and bass players laying down the rhythm tracks. That's what we do, just bass, drums, guitar, and the vocal.
Okay, so four-piece essentially.
A four-piece band.
Nice, man.
Good stuff. Well, listen, I think it's about time we listen to some of it. Why don't we stick on one of these tunes?
All right.
Let's do it.
.561 Music is sponsored by Jupiter Inlet Boat Rentals. Jupiter Inlet Boat Rentals and Boat Club is Palm Beach County's premier boat rental company and boat rental club. They have been in continuous operation since the year 2000 on the beautiful waters of Jupiter Inlet. It is the affordable alternative to boat ownership. Their membership club ranks number 1 in both quality, availability and customer satisfaction. You'll choose from their fleet of boats consisting of deck boats, dual consoles and center consoles. Rent offshore fishing boats,
deluxe cruising boats, and plush deck boats, all powered by 4-stroke outboard engines. Their vessels are fully equipped for your safety and comfort with styles suitable for ocean and intracoastal use. They are located just 2 minutes away from the mouth of Jupiter Inlet, which means fast access and the most beautiful stretch of the intracoastal. In fact, no other boat company can match their ideal location. Fishermen will be thrilled to note that sports fishing starts just a quarter mile offshore and the warm Gulf Stream is a mere 3 miles from the shore. The address is 1095 North A1A, Jupiter, Florida 33477, and you can find it at jupiterinletboatrentals.com. The telephone is 561-741-1212. In their efforts to make boating affordable, they offer rental discount membership programs that do not require a large investment up front. You pay a little to join and pay as you go. Other boat rental clubs take all your money up front, charge a monthly maintenance fee, and hope you never show up. At Jupiter Inlet Boat Club, plans start at $700 to join, and each time you take out a boat, daily fees start at just $249 plus fuel. There are no monthly fees. If you have heard of the boat club from 561 Music, please let them know when you call or go there to book a boat, and the friendly staff will take that into account and take care of you.
We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, you know, that brings people together. You will take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, you know, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Root Kava Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue, and we can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. But outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. It's north of the gas station, right before you get to North Lake on Military Trail. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. All right, we're back. So the first question we like to ask is, seeing as we've been watching the ads, and the last one we watched was about Live Music Community, do you have any advice for upcoming musicians?
Yeah, I would tell any young kid, and I meet a lot of them, stay the course. There's no shortcuts. Okay, if you learn very complex things, remember everything's going to seem boring after that. So work from the bottom up, and most of all is surround yourself with people who think and play like you do. This way you'll always have something in common.
Yeah, good advice, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. One piece of advice which I think is a really good one as well is try and play with people who are better than you. You know, like because that push you as well. That's a great thing, and I love getting the opportunity to play with people. Right now, James is coming up with some really inspiring like banjo work that is like directly affecting the way I play guitar, you know. And the more you play with other people, the better you get because you're constantly stealing ideas off each other, and you know there's that interchange of ideas. I love it. Yeah, it's all about playing with other people. I think music.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, the last couple of bands I've been in, everybody's been better than me, and it's made me a better musician.
Yeah.
I still suck, but it's made me a better musician.
There's always somebody better than you.
Yeah, exactly. And thank God.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Imagine if you were just the best at everything. Life would be very boring.
That would be amazing.
So, could you tell us a little bit about what the song we just listened to was about?
Okay, so the song Disarray is a song that I wrote basically as a tribute to being in a chaotic lifestyle.
Right.
Okay, just to constantly have the books falling off the shelves. And it is really about trying to not have too high highs or too many low lows.
Right, yeah.
Trying to
yeah.
find something in the middle and just living in a world of disarray.
Gotcha.
And be ready for anything.
Yeah, okay. When it comes to the inspiration for the lyrics, it's just your lived life, right? What you've been going through and just expressing that.
The first words are, "I'm so high, bring me back."
Right.
You know, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you get into situations where your addictive behavior gets activated, and you are basically out of control, and you have to learn how to get back into control, or you will have problems.
Oh yeah, for sure, mate.
So,
For sure. It's something which a couple of things I've taken from my little journey, my very short journey in recovery is one of them is if you feel like you're losing control. One of my favorite maxims from recovery is like do the next right thing. You know, like just whatever the next right thing you should do is, focus on that rather than looking at everything all at once and all the chaos in the world. Just feel like, okay, what if I had to do the next thing that is like the right thing to do? I'll just do that, and then just because then it just puts you on a little, on a path rather than feeling like everything's happening all at once.
Or you could do everything at once like I do and make yourself crazy.
well, also is the song is about being addicted to living a chaotic lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
And it being actually your norm.
Yeah.
And
I can relate to that.
that's not a good thing.
We all can.
Yeah, there's so much truth in that. I mean, and we've talked about this a few times now where I come in here and I seem a little off and you're like, oh, what's going on? And when I don't have a lot of things going on, when I'm just not super busy, I don't feel like myself. Like I feel the most comfortable when I have 100 different things going on and I'm being pulled in 97,000 directions.
Yeah.
Well,
it fills it fills your mind up. The devil makes work for idle hands. It's like
no, that's
it just
true,
it
man.
just fills your brain up with stuff you got to do. So, which honestly, ultimately, it's not very healthy, is it? I'm exactly the same way. I like to keep busy so that I've got stuff occupying my mind. But I think a goal perhaps in life is to be able to sit with not much going on and be okay with it.
I believe wholeheartedly that my life is organized chaos, and I'm okay with that.
Right? Yeah. Right.
That actually becomes the drug.
Yeah.
Is wanting more of that.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can really keep going consistently without ramifications.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what have you got coming up? Is there anything we should know about?
Okay, great. So this Saturday night, which is the 27th of May, we are playing at Mickey's. We are opening for the Rainbow Tribute Band, and that's at 8 o'clock.
Where's Mickey's at?
Mickey's is in Pompano.
Okay.
Okay. On June 10th, like I said, we're going to do that shake and bake with
Nice.
the shake. That's going
Yeah.
to be great. We play at 4 o'clock on that date. Swampgrass Willie's. Bring down your food and your cans, support. And then Premier Billiards on June 17th, which is in Coral Springs.
Nice.
And we play at 9:30 that night. And really appreciate you guys, man. Just
man.
connecting the 954 and the 561 has been something that I've been trying to do. Because,
Yeah, man.
you guys are awesome. And the bands I heard at your festival were really talented. you
Oh,
know.
yeah, man.
And
That means a lot.
we've run into Maximum Friction, and we're blown away. When they
Yeah.
played down in our area, and just seeing you guys and Rocky's band, that was really good. So I look forward to more of that in the future.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
How often are you guys? It sounds like you're starting to get a nice calendar going. How often you find yourself playing live?
Yeah. So right now, just trying to grab anything possible.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be nice if it was once a week.
Yeah.
It'd probably be closer to twice a month.
Right.
But it's really important. Next is the social media and digital, presentation of the group, and its story.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Is it you who does the social media stuff?
No, actually, I'm working with a really good guy named Alberto Gonzalez. I'm going to give
Right.
him a plug.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
excellent on the digital end, and I've put all my confidence into him, and we're getting out on all platforms and mixing things up. So
Nice.
he's a good man.
We do the same thing. We have someone who does our social media, Danielle, and Danielle Michaud, and she is that's just huge for us. I say it almost every episode, but it has been such
It's just
a weight off my mind.
Yeah, it's just a load off your plate. I mean, you don't have to deal with it.
It's a full-time job.
It is
Yeah.
a full-time job,
And if you really want it to work, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it is for her. She's so good at it. She's organized and driven with it, in a way that I can barely understand. It's just not how my brain works.
Yeah, no. She's very, very driven. Sending us text messages. You didn't send me this.
Yeah,
Send me
exactly.
this. We have to post about it. And yes, ma'am.
And well, she understands that's a part of her job, which is wonderful.
Oh, no. She keeps us in check, which is good. Which is really good.
No doubt about it.
So as far as music goes, I know you said you're working on the album. You're going to be releasing that in August. Are we going to get any singles before then? Or are you going to try to or are you just going to release the album?
So we're going to release a single per month through the summer.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Get
Awesome.
to the record, have people at least, on track with, 3 of them.
Creating
Yeah.
that content, man. Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully try and build almost like a subscription, not as much as trying to get people to buy all the music, because that's something that's,
It's unrealistic these
Passe.
days. Yeah.
it's more about putting the whole brand together. And, the music is the loss leader at this point.
Yeah.
Sure. After this, it shows merchandise. Ultimately, rock and roll is about connecting the music to a spigot, whether it be in a stadium and it says Budweiser, or it's in the local bar, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're trying to find a spigot to get people to listen to your music and have a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Bottom line.
Absolutely, man. So what we've got coming up is O'Shea's on Friday night.
Yep, love that
Yeah.
place.
Which is one of our local haunts that we love playing there. It always is crazy.
Yeah, it's always crazy.
Let's just hope that the girl who wants us to play Zombie isn't there. That's the only thing. And
she'll be there.
yeah, you know it.
She'll be there. And then I'm going to play Zombie just so she can come up and sing.
And then James and I are playing at the Square Grouper in the afternoon on Saturday from 3 to 6. The one in Jupiter.
I'm going to come and sit there and heckle you guys.
That would be great. That'd be so weird. But seeing you not playing but there would just spin me out so much.
Right? It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Patty Mac's on Saturday. One
Yeah.
of my favorite places to play. Always a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like half of the staff.
Half.
half of the staff, they go to the Kava bar that's next door here. So I see them all the time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. Yeah, and then you got anything else? No, that's it, isn't it? No Sunday shows. So.
No Sunday shows.
Yeah, and then after that, we have a little week hiatus because I am going to England.
2 weekends.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're going to England for a week,
Yeah.
and then the following weekend I am in Minnesota doing a street painting. So
Cool,
so we're gonna have Minnesota. So we're gonna have 2 No Killbillies weekends.
Yeah.
But
wild.
next weekend, while you're in gallivanting around London and doing your thing, my other band, Euphoria, with Justin and James, we're going to be in, and Brandon, we're going to be playing at Swampgrass.
That's
on
right.
June 3rd with Young Fiction and The Buck Stops Here. And
Yeah,
that
that's
will be
awesome.
that will be the we did a few of these last year. And we talked about doing more of them this year. We just hadn't gotten around to it because we were so busy with the festival. But this is going to be the first of 561 Music pop-up shows.
Yeah, come to our
So,
event.
yeah, man. So we're gonna start putting little pop-up shows here and there, different venues, 2, 3, 4 bands, that kind of thing, and do our thing. So
Absolutely, and Euphoria is such a great band. It's
we're
a lot of fun.
ridiculous band, but I love it.
I know. I always make the argument that youth guys think you're weirder than you are. It is very listenable music.
It is pretty weird.
It's pretty weird, but it's not like problematic weird.
No,
it's great.
definitely not problematic weird, but
Yeah.
but it is pretty weird.
Yeah, yeah.
We
But-
just don't. The thing is, it's not that it's weird. We just don't seem to fit with anybody else.
Right.
So booking a night, when I try to put the band in, booking a night with other bands, we find it very difficult. There's 1 or 2 other local bands that we could play with that kind of fit us.
Yeah.
That's it. So, when you're trying to put a night together, if it doesn't work out that you can play with those bands that particular night, you end up doing something like what we did here, where we're just like, all right, well, it's just it's a multi-genre night, like you've got
Yeah.
us, and you've got Young Fiction, who's, like more pop punk.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Buck Stops Here, which is kind of like a little bit like a reggae rock
punk
yeah,
situation.
reggae
Yeah,
punk,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it works, but it's
We were talking about that this weekend, weren't we? Because there was a little bit of a hunt for someone who sounded like the same as you guys, and you could have gone sort of one of 2 directions. Go with bands that all sound the same, or
Yeah.
just throw caution to the wind and just have, like you said, a multi-genre night.
Yeah, and that's where we ended up going. I mean, we tried to get we tried to get Muggles, but Justin Giannutos, who plays drums for them, now lives in Chicago. So they
Muggles, he sings in Muggles.
Oh, he sings.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know why I thought he played drums. But they only do like a couple of shows a year now because he lives in Chicago.
Right, yeah.
And then try to get Zoo Peculiar,
Yeah.
but somebody was out of town and something like
that's
that.
so
we
great.
couldn't. Yeah. So we ended up us, Young Fiction, and Buck Stops Here.
I
So
need to
think it'll
start
be
a
good
side
show.
project that sounds like you guys, so you got someone to play with.
Right.
I'm gonna write
But
some
but
like,
yeah,
creepy
Kenny, that's
rock.
the kind of thing, like, with us doing like the pop-up shows, that's the kind of thing we were talking about is, setting up these nights where there's like, 2, 3, 4 bands and then you can go to a club or a venue and say, I have a night for you, I not just 30 minutes of music, I have a night for you. And it's usually pretty successful if you can go in there and say, look, I got 4 bands and everybody's going to pull in, 5, 10 people. Well, we're bringing 40 people to your place,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I think with these venues that generally put on cover bands, I found the only thing that they really don't want is like really, really, really super hard like kind of deathcore and stuff like that.
Right.
Like if you can get people in the door, they'll pretty much put on anything just as long as you can convince them it's going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a question of convincing them it's going to work. But I have to say, it's been very nice to chat to you. We met the other day, and it's been really nice to actually sit down and talk to you. And your story is, it's very sad, but it's also inspirational. And I really appreciate you coming and talking to us about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a blast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for what you're doing for the scene.
Oh, man. Yeah, no worries.
We have to bond together to make this music thing happen.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And the best of luck to you. I'm sure you don't need it. You got a great product and great band. And yeah, I guess that's it. So like and subscribe. Go on our website, all that stuff.
Yep.
And we shall see you next time.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Peace out.